Good morning, everybody. It's another episode of Intellectually Honest, unedited, uncut. We're going to get right into it. Before we get started, though, y'all know the deal. Go ahead and do all that flash that the YouTube algorithm likes. Hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, and most definitely hit that notification bell. That way you'll be notified every time I drop. Now, without further ado, we can go ahead and get right into it. So, I saw the game last night. And I got some takeaways from it. Lonzo Ball and the Chicago Bulls hosted Kevin Durant, James Harden, and Kyrie Irving and the Brooklyn Nets. They came into this game with a chance to sweep the season series, a chance to make a statement win, chance to put the league on notice that this isn't just, they're not just a hot team, that they for real, that they're forced to be reckoned with in the East, in the league. So what happened? I'm going to tell you what happened. As usual, I got the stats up, so I'm being honest, so I'm being factual, so I'm being intellectually honest. And let's, without further ado, let's go and open up. So Zach LaVine, he had a pretty solid game on paper. Like I said, on paper. Because if you watch the game, then you know what went down. But let's get into the stats. Zach LaVine, 22 points, 1 rebound, 6 assists, a steal, a block, 61.5% from the field, 50% from the three. Pretty good scoring output from Zach LaVine. But then you scroll over a little bit more and you see 5 turnovers. Now, he had 6 assists, but he had 5 turnovers. Sheesh, man. And like some of them turnovers, man, were just so bad. It's just, let's keep going. DeMar DeRozan. DeMar DeRozan did not have a good game. DeMar DeRozan did not score the ball very efficiently. He did not move the rock and facilitate very efficiently. It was just an overall bad game from DeMar DeRozan, and it exposed something else, a flaw, a fatal flaw that I'm going to touch on later in my my takeaways. But for now, let's keep going. 19 points, 4 rebounds, 1 assist, a steal, 43.8% from the field, 0 threes attempted, 0 threes made. He did hit 5 out of 7 from the free throw stripe. And he had 2 turnovers of his own. So 1 assist to 2 turnovers is not good. And he had the worst plus minus in the starting lineup. Not a good game. But we will touch on that later on in my takeaways. Lonzo Ball, the number 1 son. 9 points, 7 rebounds, 7 assists, a steal, a block. Stat sheet stuffing, but at a minimum. Just, from crashing the boards and facilitating, stealing, blocking, at a minimum, he was stat sheet stuffing. 50% from the field, but he only took 6 shots, which that's even a shocker for me, for Lonzo, but not really if you saw how the game played out. 50% from the 3, 2 for 4, and only 1 turnover and 2 fouls. And Vooch was in his truest form tonight. I mean, this is like prime 2022, 2021 Vucevic right here. This is 14 points, 5 rebounds, 7-footer, and got 5. Lonzo Ball got more rebounds than Vooch. 5 rebounds, 3 assists, no steals, 1 block, 38% from the field. That is prime 2021-22 Vooch. 0%, 0 out of 3 from 3. Let's go. 22%, negative 22 plus minus. Kobe White was all right off the bench, but ultimately it amounted to nothing because the Bulls just couldn't get it going. So yeah, I'm just gonna let that be that. So first takeaway is, this was I know a lot of people say, I saw on Twitter a lot of people saying, oh, it's just 1 loss, it's just this, that, the other. Look here, man. It's not just 1 loss, all right? If they would go out there and they got blown up by the Pistons, or they got blown up by the Pelicans, or by the Pacers or something like that, that's just 1 loss. It's just a random loss to a random bad team. You ain't even gonna see them in the playoffs. This is not that, man. In all actuality, the Chicago Bulls gonna have to seed Brooklyn in the playoffs. They're gonna have to see these guys at some point. And this game, they beat them. I know they beat them already 3 times or twice already, but they did not have Kyrie in those games, if I'm not mistaken. Actually, I'm pretty sure they did not have Kyrie in those games. And I know Kyrie didn't get off like that last night, but imagine if he did. Imagine if the Brooklyn Nets really played like the Brooklyn Nets. Like with everybody fired, everybody clicking on all cylinders. This game would have been ugly. It was already ugly. This would have been one of the ones for the books. You know? This is not good. And it's not good because what it showed is that the Chicago Bulls, when it comes down to the come down, they may just not have enough to deal with the Brooklyn Nets. And I think that's something that they need to be worried about. I think they need to explore some trade options. I read somewhere that the Chicago Bulls haven't really been that active when it comes to like exploring trade. I'm sorry, something came out of my mouth. Exploring like trade options and stuff like that, of that matter lately. They better get active, man. They got to add something. They got to improve something somewhere with this roster. This is last night. That was not good. That was not a good loss. There's no moral victories here. There's no silver linings. There's no, oh, well, the Brooklyn Nets just, no. The Brooklyn Nets showed that they were better organized. They had more chemistry, which is to be expected. And possibly that they were better coached. That those players believe in what Steve Nash is talking more so than the Brooklyn Nets. More so than the Chicago Bulls believe in Billy Donovan. And that is very, very telling. So that's my takeaway number 1. That I think that Bulls possibly found out what their limits were last night. And there's nowhere close to what this Brooklyn Nets team can do. Possibly, like I said, that's right now. That's without Caruso. That's without DJJ for the majority of the game. That's without Devontae Green for what it's worth. That's without a lot of people. Mainly Caruso and Patrick Williams too. If ever he comes back. So yeah, just not a good showing by the Bulls. Takeaway number 2. I feel sorry for Lonzo Ball. Lonzo Ball, I watched him. They brought him here to be a facilitator, to play the right way, to push the pace. And they've just ignored a majority of that. So a lot of the best looks that the Chicago Bulls got last night came off of Lonzo Ball initiating the offense. Let's just keep it a stack. Let's keep it straight up. You know what I'm saying? Lonzo Ball clearly is the best facilitator on this team, but yet the Chicago Bulls seem hell-bent on playing this isolation basketball with Zach LaVine and Derozan, your turn, my turn, and that's just not gonna cut it. I don't care if y'all think that Derozan is in the MVP conversation. It will be a first-round exit if we do this in the playoffs. You understand? It's a reason why DeRozan's resume looks the way it looks. It just is. It's a reason why he couldn't get the Spurs to the playoffs. It's a reason why LeBron James cooked him. Like LeBron James cooked him with Jordan Clarkson. LeBron James cooked this man with a roster that had Jordan Clarkson and Rodney Hood as premier pieces of the offense of the team. And that's not a slight to those guys, but come on. And it's a reason for that. It's because if you look last night, and I guess I'll use this to segue into my next point about the isolation basketball that the Chicago Bulls seem hell-bent on playing. It's a reason why. So what you saw last night is you saw Two players on the Chicago Bulls try to isolation and go 1-on-5 against a Brooklyn Nets team that, despite having all the talent in the world, still played as a unit. And that is scary. That is dangerous. So when and the Brooklyn Nets didn't even have Joe Harris. We talking about Caruso. They didn't even have their best sharpshooter. And they smoked the Bulls. I'm not trying to be pessimistic. All I'm saying is something has to change. We cannot, I get it. It reminds you of Kobe. It's nostalgic, but that is not the best way to play basketball in 2022. Isolation basketball is a backup plan. When the offense breaks down. When the offense breaks down, you say, all right, give it to Derozan. Let him create something. Get us something out of nothing. That's when you do that. You don't let him go and get him and Zach go and get their behind trapped in the paint to where they have to pass. So now the defense is expecting to pass, and then it leads to Zach LaVine having 5 turnovers. DeMar DeRozan was bringing the ball up court, literally getting that thing snatched out of his hand. What you saw last night is why DeMar DeRozan is not the MVP for me. And I'm not a DeMar DeRozan hater. I like DeMar DeRozan. I watched him since he was young in the league. And I don't think it's his fault that the Raptors, all the way his fault that the Raptors didn't get it done. I don't think that the Kawhi-DeMar swap was that big of a deal, except for maybe cultural wise. Maybe they just needed that that new blood in there. I don't know, whatever. But that is a fatal flaw when you talk about DeMar DeRozan's game. That is a fatal flaw when you talk about the Chicago Bulls offense and Zach LaVine's game. It's a reason why Zach LaVine had never won 4 games in a row. Y'all thought I was kidding when I said Julius Randle is better than Zach LaVine. You can argue this year that I might be tripping, but at the end of the day, the fact still remains that Julius Randle came to the Knicks and took an organization that nobody respected and led them to the playoffs. It's a reason why Zach can't do that or couldn't do that. And it's not because of supporting cast. It's because players like Zach and DeMar naturally don't elevate the level of play around them. They just don't. It is what it is. That's why they brought Lonzo Ball there. And it seems so stupid to keep leaning in the opposite direction. So that's it, man. Something has to give. I feel bad for Lonzo because you can see the frustration on his face. He won't say it, but I know in those film rooms, I hope he's saying something. I hope Billy Donovan is saying something. I don't know whether it's a case where DeRozan and Zach and these other guys just aren't listening, aren't buying in. I don't know. But this brand of basketball, just slow it down every play, grind it out, break down your man. It got exposed last night, and you see that's not just another loss. Because like I said, Brooklyn is one of the teams that they're going to have to go through in the playoffs. It just is what it is. Take it how it is. I mean, so, and Vooch, I don't know what's wrong with Vooch. As far as I'm concerned, Vooch is who he is. It's past Christmas. We're almost to the All-Star break. Vooch is who he is. He's a up and down offensive player. I think he was an All-Star in Orlando because he was a big fish in a small pond. He is not a member of the Big Three to me. It is what it is. So that's about it. Hopefully we can bounce back and get this next win against the whatchamacallits. The Golden State Warriors, which we probably won't because you talk about team basketball. Go watch, and it's on national TV again. They're gonna get smoked on national TV again. You talk about team ball. Watch these Warriors. Watch these Warriors when they play against Chicago. Steph Curry is one of the best scorers that the league has ever seen, and that ball does not stick with him. That thing hops. Matter of fact, when they played even Brooklyn last night, like I said, that ball was hopping. Look at this. Look at these assist spreads. James Harden has 16 assists. You're talking about one of the best scorers in the history of the game. DeMar DeRozan, how dare you not? You talking about one of the best scorers in the history of the game. Still has 16 assists. And only 2 turnovers. Then you go, Kevin Durant, one of the best scorers in NBA history. Could easily go one-on-one every play if he wanted to and do it better than DeMar. 9 assists. What are we talking about? I don't have any excuses for DeMar DeRozan. That isolation ball, it has its limits and it has its place in the game. I don't think it's obsolete like these analytic heads, but it has its place. It has its place in the playoffs and it has its place when the offense breaks down. But it should not be your main diet. You will lose, and you will be ringless just like DeMar DeRozan. But anywho, enough of all that. This is another episode of Intellectually Honest. I didn't mean to sound so negative in that one, but that was an ugly game to watch. And hopefully that provides plenty of talking points for Billy Donovan so they get ready for the next game. So once again, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, and most definitely hit that notification bell. And I will catch you guys on the next one.